You're standing in the grocery store, cart in hand, list in pocket, but the shelf is empty. Again, it's happened before, maybe with eggs or baby formula or even toilet paper. But what if it doesn't stop? What if more and more items just vanish? This isn't just about inflation or a bad season. There's a massive food crisis brewing, and experts say it could hit hard by mid-2025. Climate change is destroying crops. Shipping routes are slowing down, labor strikes are delaying deliveries, and prices, they're still rising, even for things you can find. In this video, we're showing you 11 everyday groceries that could disappear from shelves, possibly within months. We'll tell you why they're vanishing, how soon you should stock up, and most importantly, what you can do right now to protect your family. If you care about putting food on the table without panic buying or paying double, watch this video all the way through, because what you're about to learn could save you time, money, and a lot of stress. Item number 1, coffee, especially Arabica beans. You wake up, you shuffle to the kitchen, you reach for your coffee, that daily ritual so many of us can't imagine living without. But what if that bag of coffee just isn't there? Here's the bitter truth. Arabica coffee, the smooth-tasting kind most Americans drink every morning, is in serious trouble. Why? Because climate change is hitting coffee farms hard, especially in Brazil, which produces nearly 40% of the world's coffee. In recent years, they've faced droughts, unseasonal frosts, and rising temperatures, all of which destroy crops. According to Bloomberg, global coffee inventories hit a 5-year low in early 2024. That means less supply and higher prices for you. And it's not just Brazil. Countries like Colombia and Ethiopia are also seeing lower yields due to unstable weather patterns. Farmers are struggling. One Brazilian grower told BBC, "We used to harvest 60 bags per acre. This year, barely 40. That's a 30% drop in just one season." Meanwhile, here in the US, the cost of your morning brew keeps climbing. Ground coffee prices have gone up over 23% in the last 2 years alone, USDA report. So what does this mean for you? If you wait too long, your favorite brand might be gone from shelves or cost twice as much, but don't panic yet. There are alternatives. Robusta beans are more resistant to climate stress and usually cheaper. Or try chicory root coffee, which has a rich flavor and no caffeine. The point is, start preparing now, because if you rely on that cup of coffee to get through your day, you'll want to make sure you still have access to it when everyone else is scrambling. Item number 2, chocolate and cocoa-based products. Let's talk about something sweet, but with a bitter truth behind it. Chocolate, the treat we all love, is on the brink of a major crisis. And this isn't just about dieting or willpower, it's about availability. Experts are warning that by mid-2025, chocolate may become scarce and expensive across the US. Why? Because the world is facing a massive cocoa shortage. Over 70% of the world's cocoa comes from just 2 countries, Côte d'Ivoire and Ghana in West Africa. But these regions are struggling with extreme weather, rising labor costs, and plant diseases that are wiping out cocoa trees. In fact, Bloomberg reported that cocoa futures hit record highs in early 2024, trading at over $10,000 per ton, more than double what they were just 18 months ago. That means chocolate bars, baking cocoa, hot cocoa mixes, and even popular candy bars could soon be harder to find or cost twice as much. One expert put it bluntly, if nothing changes, we could see real chocolate disappear from everyday shelves. And this isn't just about price hikes, it's also about supply. Major companies like Hershey's and Mars have already warned retailers about potential delays and limited stock of chocolate products in late 2024 and into 2025. So what does that mean for you? It means your kids might not be able to grab their favorite snack after school. It means your Valentine's Day plans might need a backup gift idea. And if you're someone who relies on chocolate for baking or cooking, now is the time to take note. But there are options. You can start experimenting with carob-based products, which taste similar and are more stable in supply. Or try dark chocolate with lower cocoa content, which may still be available longer than milk chocolate. Also, consider buying larger bars or blocks now instead of individually wrapped snacks. They tend to last longer and offer better value when prices rise. The key takeaway? Don't wait until it's too late. Chocolate isn't just a luxury anymore, it's becoming a limited resource. And if you want to keep enjoying your favorite treats without panic buying or paying sky-high prices, now is the time to act. Item number 3, bananas. You grab a banana on your way out the door. It's quick, healthy, and always there when you need it. But what if it wasn't? Yes, bananas, the most popular fruit in America, are now at risk of disappearing from store shelves by mid-2025. And no, this isn't just about supply chain delays or a bad growing season. This is about climate change, plant disease, and global farming collapse, all coming together to threaten your morning snack. Let that sink in. Over 70% of the bananas sold in the U.S. come from Central and South America, especially countries like Ecuador, Colombia, and Costa Rica. But these regions are being hit hard by extreme weather. In 2024, Hurricane Beryl slammed into banana farms in the Caribbean, destroying thousands of acres of crops. And with rising ocean temperatures, experts warn that stronger storms will become more common. That's not all. There's also a deadly plant disease spreading fast called Panama TR4. It attacks banana plants at the root, causing them to wilt and die. Once it infects a farm, the land can be unusable for decades. Dr. James Wong, a plant biologist, warned, if TR4 spreads unchecked, we could lose half our banana supply within 5 years. Right now, no cure exists for this disease. Back here in the U.S., stores are already seeing irregular shipments. Some grocery chains have had to limit how many bananas customers can buy at once. Prices are creeping up too. In early 2025, the average cost of a single banana reached $0.65, up from $0.48 just 2 years ago, USDA data. So what should you do? Start looking for alternatives now, before bananas become rare or too expensive. Try apples, hush pears, or even plantains as filling, nutritious replacements. You can also use mashed bananas in recipes ahead of time and freeze them for later. The bottom line, bananas may soon go from a daily staple to a luxury item. If you don't want to get caught off guard, start planning now, because one day soon, your favorite fruit might not be so easy to find. Item number 4, avocados. There was a time when avocados were just another fruit. Healthy, yes, but not exactly mainstream. Now, they're everywhere. On toast, in smoothies, at brunch, and even in desserts. If you're someone who loves avocados, here's the bad news. They may soon vanish from grocery store shelves or cost more than your morning coffee. Why? Because avocados are in crisis, and it's happening fast. The biggest reason? Water shortages, especially in Mexico, the world's top avocado exporter. In fact, over 80% of avocados sold in the U.S. come from Mexico, particularly the state of Michoacan. But that region has been hit hard by droughts and illegal water extraction. Farmers are struggling to keep their trees alive. Some have even had to cut production in half. And it's not just Mexico. California, the second largest avocado supplier to the U.S., is also suffering from years of dry weather. In 2024, avocado yields dropped by nearly 30% due to extreme heat and water restrictions, LA Times report. At the same time, demand keeps rising. As prices went up, many Americans started buying fewer avocados. But industry experts say that won't last long. Once supply drops even more, prices will spike again, possibly hitting $3 per avocado in major cities like New York, LA, and Chicago, CNBC early 2025 report. So what does this mean for you? If you love avocado toast, guacamole, or just enjoy throwing one on your salad, now is the time to act. Start stocking up when you see them on sale. Freeze mashed avocado with lemon juice for later use. Or start experimenting with alternatives like edamame-based guac, hummus, or mashed peas. They're cheaper, easier to find, and just as creamy. One California farmer recently told NBC News, we used to grow enough avocados to ship nationwide. Now we're barely keeping up with local demand. That's how serious this shortage is becoming. So don't wait until May or June 2025, when avocado season hits its peak scarcity, to realize they're gone. Act now, because one day soon, your favorite green fruit might be a luxury item or disappear completely. Item number 5, eggs. Remember when eggs were cheap, reliable, and always in your fridge? Those days might be coming to an end. Eggs are now one of the most at-risk grocery items in America, and experts warn they could vanish from shelves by mid-2025. This isn't just about a temporary shortage or a price hike. It's about a full-blown supply chain collapse that started with a deadly virus and never fully recovered. Back in 2022 and early 2023, the U.S. faced a massive avian flu outbreak, wiping out millions of hens across the Midwest, the heart of American egg production. And now, new outbreaks are popping up again. The USDA confirmed bird flu cases in 12 states as of early 2025, meaning more flocks being culled, fewer eggs being laid, and more delays in restocking stores. But it's not just disease causing the problem. Labor shortages, rising feed costs, and stricter FDA regulations are also slowing down production and driving prices through the roof. According to the Bureau of Labor Statistics, egg prices remain 28% higher than pre-pandemic levels, and that number is expected to rise even more if supply continues to drop. Some stores have already started limiting how many dozen customers can buy at once. One Iowa farmer recently told Fox News, "We're doing everything we can, but it's getting harder every month. The cost to raise hens is higher than what we get paid when we sell the eggs." That's a scary reality, and it means egg shortages aren't just possible, they're likely. So what does this mean for your breakfast, baking, or meal prep routine? It means you may soon find yourself standing in front of empty egg cartons more often. It means restaurant breakfasts might start removing eggs from menus, like we saw during the last crisis. And it means families on a budget will feel the hit the hardest. But there are solutions. Start experimenting with plant-based egg substitutes like Just Egg, which uses mung beans and has a similar texture when cooked, or try making tofu scrambles, high in protein, affordable, and shelf-stable compared to fresh eggs. If you see eggs on sale, stock up and freeze them. Yes, you can freeze raw eggs, just crack them into a bowl, whisk them, and pour into ice cube trays for easy portioning later. Bottom line, don't wait until it's too late. By May or June 2025, eggs may become another item you remember buying back in the day. If you want to keep enjoying them without paying double or hunting store to store, now is the time to prepare. Item number 6, baby formula. If you're a parent, you know how stressful it is when your baby's favorite formula disappears from store shelves. But what if I told you that baby formula shortages are about to get worse, possibly by mid-2025? This isn't just a bad memory from 2022 anymore. It's happening again, and this time the signs are even more alarming. Back in 2022, the nation was thrown into panic when a major recall at Abbott Nutrition's Michigan plant, one of the largest baby formula producers in the U.S., led to months of empty shelves and desperate parents scrambling to find alternatives. Fast forward to 2025, and production bottlenecks still haven't fully recovered. New FDA regulations, supply chain delays, and ongoing recalls are causing spotty availability across the country. Some formulas, especially specialty ones for premature or medically fragile babies, are only available through pharmacies or with doctor prescriptions. One pediatrician recently warned at the American Academy of Pediatrics conference, parents should consider alternatives like ready-to-feed or European imported formulas while supplies remain unstable. And here's something most people don't realize. Formula production is highly centralized. A handful of companies control almost the entire U.S. market, meaning if one supplier has issues, it affects everybody. Labor strikes at packaging and shipping centers have also slowed down restocking efforts. Some retailers report getting only half their usual shipments, and stores are limiting purchases to just 1 to 2 cans per customer. Meanwhile, prices keep climbing. In early 2025, the average cost of a can of infant formula hit an all-time high of $18.99, and up nearly 30% from 2 years ago, FDA and CDC data. So, what does this mean for you? If you have a newborn or a young child who depends on formula, you need to start planning ahead now. Talk to your pediatrician about safe alternative brands or ready-to-use formulas that might be easier to find. Buy extra when you see it on sale, but don't hoard because other parents need it too. Also look into European-made formulas, which are often imported and less affected by U.S. production issues. The bottom line? Baby formula may soon become harder to find than ever before. By May or June 2025, many parents could face the same crisis we saw 2 years ago, or worse. If you want to avoid sleepless nights searching store to store, start preparing today. Item number 7, canned tuna. It's a pantry staple in millions of American homes. Quick, affordable, and packed with protein, canned tuna has long been a go-to for lunches, casseroles, and after-school snacks. But here's the reality check. Canned tuna is disappearing from store shelves, and by mid-2025, it may become harder to find than ever before. Why? Because ocean temperatures are rising, and that's driving tuna farther from traditional fishing zones. Skipjack tuna, the most common type used in canned tuna products, is now being caught in smaller numbers, and scientists say it's directly linked to climate change and overfishing. According to NOAA, National Oceanic and Atmospheric Administration, skipjack populations have declined sharply due to warmer waters and unsustainable harvesting practices. One marine biologist told the New York Times, "Although we're seeing fewer young fish returning to spawn, that's a red flag for the entire industry." And it's not just about how many tuna there are, it's also about how much it costs to bring them to your table. Fuel prices for fishing boats have gone up, so have labor and processing costs. And as catches shrink, companies are forced to raise prices. In fact, canned tuna prices jumped 19% in 2024 alone, according to Consumer Reports. Some brands now cost over $2 per can, and experts warn that number could climb even higher this year. Major grocery chains like Kroger and Albertsons have already reported spotty restocking schedules, with some stores going weeks without full tuna inventory. This isn't just bad news for lunch lovers, it's a problem for families on a budget, school meal programs, and emergency food supplies. So what can you do? Start looking for alternatives now, before tuna becomes too expensive or unavailable. Try canned salmon, which is rich in omega-3s and often more sustainable. Or switch to canned sardines, which are plentiful, nutritious, and usually cheaper. For sandwiches and salads, chicken salad or egg salad can be great substitutes, especially if you stock up during sales or freeze extras. If you love tuna melts, try using mackerel, another high-protein fish that's easier to source. And if you see a good deal on tuna, especially family packs or bulk cans, grab a few extra to keep on hand, because here's the truth. By May or June 2025, your favorite tuna brand might not be on the shelf at all. And when that happens, you'll want to be ready. Item number 8, citrus fruits. Oranges, lemons, grapefruit. There was a time when citrus fruits were always in season, bright, juicy, and packed with vitamin C. But now, oranges, lemons, and grapefruit are disappearing from store shelves, and by mid-2025, your favorite citrus fruit might be harder to find than ever before. Why? Because Florida's citrus industry is collapsing, and it's not coming back anytime soon. For decades, Florida was the heart of America's orange juice supply, but over the last 20 years, production has dropped by more than 70%, according to USDA data. And the reason? A deadly plant disease called citrus greening, or HLB, Huanglongbing. It's a bacterial infection spread by tiny bugs called psyllids. Once a tree is infected, it slowly dies, and there's no known cure. One Florida grower told the Wall Street Journal, "We've lost entire groves. Some farms have given up entirely." And it's not just Florida. California and Texas, two other major citrus-producing states, are also seeing declines due to droughts, water restrictions, and rising farming costs. In fact, California's lemon crop dropped nearly 20% in 2024, while grapefruit production in Texas hit a 50-year low, California Department of Food and Agriculture report. At the same time, demand remains high, which means prices are going up fast. A single lemon that used to cost 30 cents now sells for over $1 in some parts of the country. CNBC, early 2025. Orange juice prices have also spiked, with the average gallon now costing over $6, up from $4.50 just a year ago. So, what does this mean for you if you love fresh squeezed OJ, homemade guacamole, or a squeeze of lemon on your fish? You may need to start adjusting your habits. But there are smart ways to prepare. Start buying frozen lemon juice or dried citrus zest. They're shelf-stable and work well in cooking and baking. Try using apples or vinegar for acidity in recipes where citrus used to be a flavor booster. And if you see citrus on sale, especially in season, stock up and freeze the juice or zest ahead of time. Because here's the truth. By May or June 2025, fresh citrus fruits may become rare, expensive, or completely unavailable in many parts of the U.S., and when that happens, you'll want to be ready. Item number 9, ground beef. There's nothing quite like the smell of burgers sizzling on the grill or a hearty meatloaf baking in the oven. But if you love ground beef and you've noticed prices going up or packages getting smaller, here's the hard truth. Ground beef may soon vanish from store shelves altogether. And by mid-2025, it could become a luxury item for many American families. Why? Because the U.S. cattle herd is shrinking, and ranchers are struggling to keep up with demand. According to the USDA, the number of cattle in the U.S. has dropped to its lowest level since 1952. That means fewer cows, less meat, and higher prices at the grocery store. One Texas rancher recently told NBC News it costs more to feed them than we make when we sell them. That's a big problem, because when ranchers can't afford to raise cattle, they stop breeding them. And once that cycle starts, it takes years to recover. Meanwhile, feed costs have skyrocketed due to droughts, poor harvests, and rising grain prices. Corn and soy, two major ingredients in cattle feed, are more expensive than ever. At the same time, global demand for beef is growing, especially in Asia. That means more exports and less meat available for American consumers. As a result, ground beef prices have jumped over 21% in just the last year, according to USDA data. Retailers are already feeling the pressure. Some stores have started limiting how much ground beef customers can buy at once. So, what does this mean for your dinner table? It means you may not be able to find affordable ground beef at all, especially in the coming months. And for families on a budget, this isn't just inconvenient, it's a real problem. But there are ways to prepare. Start experimenting with cheaper cuts of meat like pork shoulder or chicken thighs, both of which can be used in many of the same recipes. Try mixing plant-based ground meat into dishes like tacos or spaghetti sauce to stretch your portions, or switch to canned meats like canned chicken or ground bison. Both are often more stable in supply and price. The key takeaway: don't wait until May or June 2025 to realize that ground beef is gone from your local store. Start planning now, because one day soon, that family burger night might cost a lot more or disappear completely. Item number 10, frozen vegetables. For decades, frozen vegetables have been a kitchen staple, affordable, long-lasting, and packed with nutrients. But now your freezer may soon be missing those bags of peas, corn, broccoli, or mixed veggies because frozen vegetables are vanishing from store shelves. And by mid-2025, they could become hard to find or expensive to buy. Why? Because labor strikes, energy costs, and supply chain breakdowns are hitting frozen food production harder than ever before. Major companies like Bird's Eye, Green Giant, and private label brands rely on large processing plants across the Midwest and Pacific Northwest. But in recent months, many of these facilities have faced worker shortages and factory slowdowns. In early 2025, a nationwide strike at major food packaging plants caused delays in restocking grocery stores across the U.S. Some retailers reported going weeks without fresh shipments of frozen vegetables. And it's not just labor issues. Energy costs are rising, especially for refrigeration and freezing, which means higher prices for manufacturers and eventually higher prices for you. According to NBC Business, several frozen food companies have already raised prices by up to 20% in the last year alone. One distributor told Food and Wine magazine, "We're paying more to run freezers, ship products, and keep workers safe. That cost has to go somewhere. At the same time, demand is still high, especially among families trying to stretch their budgets with longer-lasting meals." So what does this mean for your dinner plate? It means you might not be able to grab that bag of frozen stir-fry mix when you need it most. It means meals like frozen dinners, veggie burgers, and quick side dishes could become less reliable. And for people who rely on frozen produce, due to limited access to fresh vegetables, this shortage hits even harder. But there are ways to prepare. Start buying fresh seasonal vegetables and learn how to freeze them yourself at home. Try switching to canned vegetables, which often remain more stable in price and availability, or consider growing your own easy-to-store veggies indoors, like herbs, sprouts, or lettuce. The key takeaway: don't wait until frozen veggies are gone to find an alternative. By May or June 2025, frozen vegetable shortages could reach crisis levels. And when that happens, you'll want to be ready. Because when your freezer starts looking empty, your dinner options start disappearing too.